episode of our Doddie Aid campaign for 2024. It's been another good year for money raised and miles ran, or walked, cycled, gymmed, taekwondoed, whatever you like to do. But before we get into our Doddie Aid stuff, let me introduce you to the gang. So it's myself, Ali Skywalker McLeod, and me amigos. We've got Johnny Red Gemmel, and
Hello.
Minnie Martin, Minnie James.
Oh.
How are we, guys? How's things?
Good, mate, good.
Not bad.
So, if we're a gang, do we have gang colours and gang signs? So,
You can.
pretty
You
cool.
can throw throw up gang. That's
Is that a
that
gang sign?
that incites violence, I think.
Yeah.
That gang sign. But yeah, we're all ticking along. Are you ready to reach your goals that you predicted from last week? Bang on.
Easy money.
I
Yeah.
know.
8 miles to go, and I've hit 200. And
That's awesome.
I've not cashed in my gym miles card yet, so that's probably going to be about another 35 or 36 or something.
Nice.
Easy peasy.
Done.
Easy
Very
peasy.
nice.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, because I think it's there's still a few people that are on this that end up with zero. So I don't know if they just come in to donate their money and then just walk away with 0 miles. You think they would clock 1 mile or something?
I know someone that's put themselves under an alias of Lou Elastic, who may well be the big heavy guy for Remember the Titans, and it may well be David Ross Cocaine. So, yeah, name check, called out, deal with it.
Yeah, so totally threw him under a bus there.
I did see the Louis Elastic, but I was like, who the hell is putting him in themselves in? Is that?
The guy sitting on 0.00 miles. It's impossible. It feels like impossible to have done 0.00 miles.
Sure, he must have done something. It's actually the Savage brothers are in there. Colin Savage on 10 miles, Jamie on 13.7. Neil Savage absolutely blown them away with 41.
Boom.
Not that that's a huge total itself, but in the
Yeah.
league of savages,
He smashed it.
The most savage.
That's
he's the real savage.
Yeah, that's the middle brother syndrome. There, the forgotten child. That's because Coco had his bike and stuff there. 'Cause last year he actually did all right, just tipping away at the miles on his bike, but decided just go hang
I
this
think
year.
injuries have caught up with him a wee bit. He's fucked his knee or something, so I think he's been struggling. But you literally go for one piss and you've got more than 0.01 miles. So if he's just sitting there bagged the fuck up, then
Plus, he's got a dog as well. He's surely just the 500 yards that he would walk to let the dog go for a piss.
I will. Nope, I'm sitting on 0.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. We'll
There
shout
you
him
go.
out for his bad thing. But it was I was having a look at the league earlier today, and some fun facts for you as well. So obviously,
Oh,
Glasgow have not performed to their usual levels. I was trying to find a positive spin, and one of it being going to the law of averages. So when you calculate the number of people by the number of miles, obviously it gives you a kind of rough total per person. So top of the leaderboard of that is Scotland South. They average 98.48 per person. North and Mid average 92.8 per person. Barbarians average 90.5 per person. Wales 86.65 per person. Edinburgh 84.8. So Glasgow averaged 84.3. So it turns out there's no positive spin because they're bottom of that league as well.
so I thought you said when you were searching for positive spin, that was going to be followed up with, and I found one.
And I did not find one, unfortunately.
Not just knock us all the way down.
No matter which way you spin it, we are bottom. We're not. Well, we're obviously in the actual league, we're second bottom, but it turns out Wales are per person.
I've got it in front of me, and I've actually got a positive spin for you.
Go.
On the money raised league table, which really is the more important thing, is to actually raise the money that goes to fund the research. North and Midlands top, Edinburgh second, Glasgow third.
With that,
We're above South and Barbarians in money raised. So there you go.
I said, take our money. We're doing 0 miles. Like
take our money. Don't make me move.
There's the money. Don't bother with the miles.
Well, I've done a bit of analysis as well, and it's not really as empirical as what you guys have done, but apparently we're actually top of the league for most handsome. So
Oh,
I can deal with that,
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I mean,
So take that.
Yeah. So
I
congratulations.
presume it's we probably carry more than our fair share of weight in that league, but well done,
Not,
lads.
not bragging. It's just what other people say. So
Well,
it's the
done,
comments you get.
well done, Backbar Genetics. You win again.
Happy
Uh, so yeah, that's my fun facts for the day. Not none of it in a positive light that makes us any better at Doddie Aid campaigns.
2025 is our time to shine. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we'll have to come up with something. I think we just need to get someone really rich and just say it's over top of the money lists.
or both. I think we should be recruiting animals. Like, yeah, well, you live in a fucking hunting place. Surely you can tag some of those pheasants or
So,
whatever. Like,
don't know if we
done.
tag the pheasants, maybe some of the deer.
Aye, that too. All of it.
Stick a couple of garmins and some deer.
Aye, and
And
then chase
then,
them.
yeah, Bob, then you blow their brains out. They're not going to run really far with no brains.
Not in January, you don't. Well, no.
You
Anyway,
can go in, you can just go in the Jeep and drive. I don't know what you shout at them, or whatever it is you shout at them, and then they can like run like fuck, and then we get more miles.
Big lion noises. That's it. They'll be like, what
yeah.
the fuck's that? A lion?
Well, I've not seen one of them since I was on holiday in Africa.
We need to get creative, guys.
Or could you just get a lion suit? That would be funny and just run about.
Might still have one. A stag do.
We're going down a weird and interesting rabbit hole right now,
Yeah. Well, this
and I
is
like it.
it's like a think tank session.
Yeah, we
Well,
will definitely come back bigger and better in 2025.
yeah, I like the confidence.
I mean, I might
Yeah.
have said that last year as well, but I mean it this time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's see, mate. I'll bet you a fiver we're not top.
I'd say we'd be top. Better is not fifth.
Look at you scared to lose a fucking fiver. Oh dear.
Oh, yeah. So
So what's happening
uh,
tonight?
tonight we have another return. So we have our illustrious Doddie Aid leader, Scotland legend, and pretty much all-round legend, to be fair, Mr. Rob Wainwright, joining us. So we will obviously be catching up on his antics. Probably heard from previous chats that instead of doing the cycle from Edinburgh to Wales or Wales to Edinburgh, which they normally do every year, they are cycling from Edinburgh to Rome, which
Madness.
I think at one point we sort of semi-contemplated, and by semi I mean for about 10 seconds. But when you actually think, I think they're doing it over 1 week, just constant cycling. I should have Googled that. That probably would have been a good number to know what the actual distance between Rome and Edinburgh is, but it's a lot. It's going to be, I'm going to hazard a guess about 2,000, 1,000. I don't know.
I think
Far.
it's over 2,000 anyway, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, so him and his gang are going to be doing that. So we'll probably catch up on those antics and what else he's been getting up to. So when we get him on and see what he's up to.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go.
So tonight, making his third appearance on the Back Bar podcast. Each time has been more entertaining than the last. So looking forward to this one. So without any further ado, would like to introduce you to the man himself, Mr. Rob Wainwright. How are you, sir? How are you keeping?
Very good, very good. Yeah, I'm stuck out in the Hebrides. It's bluey, it's rainy, and
House
it's
still
quite woozy
standing?
tonight. The house is still standing. Some of the guests who are staying here that are stuck here are no longer standing, having gone for a walk on the beach and made the mistake of popping in for one pint. Yeah, and it's we're now dealing with the tidy up operation after that.
Is it like the Billy Connolly joke where he says his wife used to think a pint was like this size? He said just going for one, and it's like the size of a human.
Well, I don't know. There was something called Norfolk Nog that seems to be doing all the damage. I'm not being particularly judgmental because 2 nights ago I was involved in something quite similar with them. And I thought surely they're not going to try and repeat that. But it seems that they have. The common factor is a Norfolk Nog out of a flask There's a Norfolk farmer in among our guests, and yeah, Norfolk Nog is Bailey's, half Bailey's, quarter brandy, quarter whiskey.
Wow.
And yeah, it is the source of all our problems.
Yeah, I could see I can see why after giving us the ingredient list there. That's potent.
I was going to say the other common denominator there, Rob, is you.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have any Norfolk Nog. See, this one's sober. So this one's sober. He's now come in.
It's my turn to go and check.
Oh right, he's off to check on the one the piper down. So
that's brilliant. So, well, we have obviously got a few things to cover off with you, Rob. So I will now hand you over to John and Minnie to go through a few things.
Yeah.
Are you not allowed to ask questions, Ali? Then?
No, it's just I'm the Norfolk Nog guy. I'm the guy that causes all the problems. So yeah.
I'm now thinking that I'm going to have to move because it's a steady flow of drunken Egypt. There we go. We'll see what happens. As long as they just move quietly. Yeah. I'm now worried. This one's come through with a cloth, so
nothing else.
There is no kitchen roll, cloth. So.
Absolute chaos over there.
I've got them for 2 extra days. The ferry never got in. They come for 3 days. We got them for 5. Yes.
Let's give it an entertaining couple of days.
There we go. That's the sober one. Which is unusual.
I feel as I'm missing out on something here. Like
I know.
You're not missing out.
Not major.
There's someone through there saying he wants to have a show donkey. This is his thing. He wants to have a showing donkey and do the circuit.
Leaning over the table.
Oh, right. Don't tell me now, Cam. Don't tell me. Just go and tidy it up.
It wasn't the first.
Oh, gosh.
Absolutely.
There we go. On to serious stuff. So.
Yeah, absolute madness over in Coll. Anyway, where was I?
Right. How are you going to edit this? How are you going to edit this?
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah.
Or not.
Keep the chaos in there. Why not? Yeah. Anyway, so you mentioned the inclement weather on Coll earlier, and just in general, the last couple of weeks we've not really been blessed with great weather for what is generally the outdoor pursuits of Doddie Aid. So, what's your go-to for keeping the miles on the go?
I'm sitting on my go-to, which is I'm doing a bit of product placement here. Clearly on the this isn't actually my watt bike. This is my son's watt bike, which he's hardly ever got on. So that'll change. And then occasionally I've gone out. Can you see some bikes there?
Oh yes, very nice.
Yeah.
That's that's all ready. That's been serviced and is waiting to go to Rome. And then there's a spare bike behind that. But a little bit of walking, but really, I can't remember what I'm on. I think I'm on 650 miles or something like that. But they're cheating miles. They're easy miles. They're indoor bike miles, which don't really count. So
I know they count. They count.
But what have you been getting yours in then?
I've been, well, if we're going to call them cheat miles, I've been clocking up a few on the indoor bike as well.
Yeah.
Running as well. But the weather's not been the best for going outside, so.
It hasn't, and that's, I'd like to be out on the bike more. But if we could get the tech to do it next year, I'd like to have weighted miles, so that 2 miles on the indoor bike became 4 miles on the outdoor bike. So you score more. You only get 1 mile for 4 miles on the indoor bike. You get 1 mile for 2 miles on the outdoor bike. Running, you get a mile per mile. And then half a mile of rowing, you get a mile. And then we try and weight it so that at the end of it, the person who really has done the most exercise, rather than the cyclist just walking away with it.
Effort miles then.
Exactly. So I think there certainly was a conversion table of cardio to miles and things like that on the Doddie Aid, the Aid website somewhere, I think. But I think if we formalize it so that all miles became equal, except they don't become equal, but you have a standard mile that is represented by, a 5K run is the same as a 20K indoor bike, which I think is fair. But we got to get a tech sorted for that, which maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of edge cases there as well. Like, you're never going to be able to capture everything because then someone will come up with something daft that they do, and then you're like, wait, how do you quantify that? But I think it's like, I think it'd be worthwhile.
I was like when Rory Hamilton was on with us a couple of weeks ago, and he does a lot of Monroes, and he was saying that you spend all day doing like 10 miles on a Monroe, and you're absolutely done in where someone hops on their bike for an hour.
I know, exactly. It's not comparable. It's the old half hour for every 100, is it 1,000 feet? You add half hour to your time. So if you're doing Monroes, that should be, a quarter of a mile becomes a mile or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's something to think about. Probably the least of our worries, but it's trying to find a way to take it forward. It's been, I feel that Doddie Aid's been very successful this year. It hasn't had the numbers it had last year. There's been quite a battle between Glasgow, the Barbarians, and the South. Just in terms of recruitment, I think you were all within about 50 of each other. I think you were very close.
Close.
Yeah, but not many people join at this time of the month, or even we're on to the next month now. So I don't think it'll change. Are you in fourth place? Are you?
I think you had it up, Gemma. Where are we sitting just now?
I'm multitasking.
Sadly, fifth.
Yeah, I think we're second bottom.
Yeah, you are 27 behind the Barbarians, and you're only 17. If you could recruit 18 people, you'd overtake the South.
Right, go to arms. Let's get 18 in.
There's a challenge. The difficulty is that this call to arms is going out after the end of Doddie Aid.
No. We can maybe get something up in the socials beforehand.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Flip it and put this up. Well, that's all we need is one rugby team plus subs.
1 week quit. That's it.
Easy. So that's actually probably a good kind of point. Doddie has been going for a number of years now, and you've been there since inception. So you've seen that kind of progress over the years. What's been the biggest change you've noticed since starting this out to where we are today?
The biggest thing I've noticed, and when you're trying to make these things work, it's not a science. It's like a dark art, isn't it? And there's a huge amount of luck and circumstance as to whether things take off. But if you want to make things work, I like bottom up from communities. If you can get communities involved and you have recruitment from the bottom up rather than a constant, it's nice to have Ewan McGregor and Jared Butler and a lot of the famous sports personalities involved. It's nice to have their support. It's wonderful to have their support. And from a recruitment point of view, just having interesting traffic on the social media channels, I think helps. But ultimately, if you want to make it work, you need to go out and you need to get little seeds that grow up from rugby clubs and that's kind of what we did with the ride when we were going down to Wales. Is that every club we stopped at said, why don't you put a team in? And then on the back of that, you got a team that I think they averaged about 35,000 per team of cyclists that did the cycle last year. And then you also got a whole load of Doddie Aid recruitment as a result of it, because everyone was in for the whole journey. And last year, obviously, it was at the end of Doddie Aid and was very much part of it. So it's bottom up. It's a wonderful thing to see the positive energy of the rugby family. And when I played rugby, I never talked about the rugby family, but you really see it in events like this and in the support for the MND community, particularly at this time, and down in the rugby league family as well. Even more amazing in many respects, isn't it? What two friends, one of them, tragically struck down, and the other one just, a Superman, isn't he, in terms of what he goes through. But it's just amazing to see friendships like that, and what they're producing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think the stuff that Kevin Sinfield does is just incredible, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just keeps raising the bar for the challenges. Like what was it? Was it the 7 and 7? Was that the latest one?
I think so.
7 and 7 with the extra mile. So it was
Yeah.
for all ultra marathons, because if you do more than 26 miles, so they did the extra mile, and then they had people coming along for the extra mile, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The difficulty with something like this is how do you get out of it? I mean, it's something that I'm thinking about as well. But we're just kind of taking over and doing pretty much the same thing every year. But there's some pressure on him to do even longer runs, and he can stick with the 7-bit. The 7-bit, works for him. But how do you change it? How do you move forward? It's bloody difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
And considering he's got a full-time job as well, so.
Well, he may have a bit more time on his hand. Maybe he'll be coaching, in the coaching team up in Scotland by then. There was rumours this week, weren't there?
Yeah.
Was there? Oh, okay.
I suspect there were rumours in Wales, in Ireland, but he's certainly not in the English setup after the summer tour.
Get him up here. Get him up.
Well, it may happen. It may happen, or it may not.
Oh, it's so cryptic, Rob. That's almost like inside information.
There we go. Well, I have no inside information at all. I'm talking with all the authority of a man who farms on a small island and gets the same news that you get through your phone, and and a lot of it's conjecture. So.
The less said about what we view on our phones, the better, Rob, I think.
Moving swiftly on from that, before we go down a rabbit hole that nobody wants us to, we kind of touched there on Team Glasgow not being too far off the mark of the Southern Barbarians teams, which previous years they probably lagged behind a bit more, so they kind of closed the gap this year, but just not quite hitting the potential of what it really is the biggest restricted by population. What do you think we need to do for next year to kind of unleash that wee beast that's there? Because there's the numbers there. We just
I know. I go back to the bottom up model. Don't shout down from on high and say, come and join us, but you got to do a bit of that as well, just to keep it in the public consciousness. But it's recruiting through schools, through rugby clubs. It's getting the rugby clubs, and there's an awful lot of rugby clubs in the Glasgow district, aren't there? It's getting in through there and getting some competition in the leagues. And but this year, comparatively, if you think that on the 2nd of January, the South were ahead of the North and Midlands last year. And now you're within a team and 3 subs of being ahead of them. So I think Edinburgh and Glasgow have done very well this year, and particularly there's been a lot of energy over in Edinburgh, and that that's a lot of that's working in up and down. Jamie Ritchie's been fantastic, Mark Bowman, and they've been out there doing stuff with them, and then you've got your Davy Shivs and Richard organising the events at Arthur's Seat. But it was the same in Glasgow. You had Xander coming for a dip in Mug Dock, is it called?
Mug Dock, yeah. Whereas Xander did his dip and Ailey got out with a crowd of them for a walk as well on New Year's Day.
And I think it's getting that engagement, and I suppose it's easier in a city because you're all a lot closer to each other. But it's trying to get things to happen, and it's just energy. It's putting energy into the event, and This year it was a bit of a challenge compared with last year, having just lost Doddie 2 months before. Everything was very much in the consciousness, and
Yeah.
we have a very loyal support, which would seem to number about 17,500, and then it's trying to get them to get their friends or family. It's taking the next step, and we've got 11 months to think about how that might be done.
Yeah. It's exciting. I think because we've got a few ideas of our own, Ross. We'll probably be chapping your door about some things that we can do.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go on next year.
Start the
Well,
2025 planning now.
Yeah, we've got our debrief on the 9th, and coming up with ideas. And I think we've got a lot of time. We've got Anna Carr, who's kind of running the event within the foundation workforce, and I would hope that, well, we'll discuss the ideas, in a week's time. But I think there'll be a lot of grassroots reaching out to try and get all these sort of loci around the country and the districts and elsewhere. Maybe people saying, why isn't there an England team? Is it time to have English districts as well? It's been quite a challenge having we got a bit of energy in Wales last year. We've got some wonderful people in Wales this year, but the numbers didn't compare with last year, which is partly because we probably didn't ride down through Wales, or
Yeah.
at the moment we'd be riding. This time last year we were riding through Wales, and I think that it was a great way to engage with the clubs that we went through.
Lions tour to Australia next year. Get an Australia team out there.
There is talk. There's talk of something Doddie attached to Lions, but I haven't actually heard what it might be. I think it might involve cycling over in Australia. But,
not cycling to Australia, is it?
I think someone is cycling to Australia. I think it's a cricket fan. I think there is a cricket fan. Okay. But I think he's doing it in increments, and then coming home and then going off and doing a bit more. But that's a big gig.
Yeah. If there's a requirement for that podcast to support anything like that, Rob, then you know where we are. Happily go over.
Excellent. Well, I'm waiting for the call up. I've just Winterbottom mentioned something when I last saw him, but I think he's doing Race Across America this summer, so he's concentrating on his. I think he's doing it in a pair with Mike Teague, which is 3,100 miles. Yeah, that's a tough one. So
we need to return for Team Glasgow. That'll bump the miles right up.
Yes, exactly.
Had a few retrospective miles.
I know.
Yeah.
Nice. So just moving on, obviously we're on the eve of the opening of the Six Nations. So this is obviously Thursday. It won't be the eve when people listen to this. Team announced for Scotland today.
Wait. We'll just you can cut that bit. If it all goes tits up, we'll cut that bit. Okay.
What a win!
What a win! But I guess so. With the team announced today, how are you feeling? Scotland's prospects are looking for this season.
I think this could be a really nice open Six Nations. Things become a wee bit polarized. Which has been nice because we've been, in the top half, generally speaking. But France and Ireland have been considerably stronger than everyone else, and they've both lost their talismans after the World Cup. One of them to go and play sevens in the Olympics, and the other one by age. And it will be interesting to see how much, how quickly they can recover from that. Because there's always, I remember when I was playing when Fitzpatrick and Zinzambut retired, the wheels came off the All Blacks wagon for a while, and it would be nice. It would be nice if there was a bit more of a hiccup in the progress of Ireland and France. But you look at Wales and England, you've got a lot of youth coming in there, so they're at that kind of difficult stage of the cycle where they're blooding a lot of youth, and in 3 or 4 years' time they'll reap the benefits of that, I'm sure. But we're pretty lucky, bar the injuries we've been having. We were talking about fullbacks. Everyone's injury is an opportunity for someone else to step up to international level, and sometimes you look at people like Hamish Watson. How can Hamish Watson not be in the team? Because you let someone else take the seat, and it's bloody hard to get back in. And so it's an opportunity, but we do have a pretty settled team. We haven't had a load of mass retirements, so that works in our favour. And in the old days, we had England and France at home. That's what we had our best chance. But Ireland away, God, we probably do as well away as we do at home against Ireland of late. In fact, the last time we beat them was in Dublin, wasn't it? But was that 10 years ago? Was it?
That must be something like that.
We've been at home since then.
Have we? Have we had one at home? Have we?
Had one.
I thought it was 9 matches without, and then we got beaten again in the World Cup. So that was is that not the 10th loss in a row?
I think it was 2017. The only reason I remember this is because my mum's
Right.
Irish and I got her tickets for the game,
Yeah.
and she smugly went on thinking that Ireland would beat us. So I'm sure that was 2017. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I completely forgot today was Thursday, so I'm probably not to be relied upon. So
Right. Well, we shouldn't waste too much time arguing about stuff that we're not 100% sure. Everyone listening will have already Googled it and had the answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think there's a great opportunity. I think we're well set up. As ever in any campaign, you got to win your first game. And in the past, playing Wales away, would have been a very difficult start. But Wales particularly have had their problems of late, and playing down in Cardiff, you just can't take anything for granted. Scotland are going to have to produce the goods, but they know they can win. So it's a matter. But we know if we perform that we can win down there, and that's not always been the position when we went down to Cardiff, is it?
No.
But either way, you always get a good night out at Cardiff, though. That's sometimes the rugby is secondary to the night out.
A good weekend.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. How would you order your Six Nations away venues on whatever criteria you want? What order would you put them in?
I've only been to 2, so I've been to Cardiff and I've done Twickenham. So I was at Twickenham for the game that we came back and drew. Was it 38 all?
Yeah. It was a good day to start at Twickenham.
It was a good day, but I didn't know it was a draw to the next day. I was that hammered during the game. What I heard, it was amazing. So I'd have to go with Cardiff. Been a couple of times, and it's a brilliant place to go for a game. We've never won, but it's been good fun.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to remove you from the expert witness category. You've not been to 3 of the destinations. What about the other 2?
I feel it's going to only get worse from here because I've been to all of the destinations apart from Cardiff, but never for a Scotland game. So I'm kind of half-baked witness on this one.
So I'll just Ali, you go on. Are you an expert witness?
No, not at all. I got engaged at the Six Nations game because my wife is Irish as well, so I got engaged in Dublin. So I hate the rugby.
Right. You could be in a lot of trouble.
I know. I'll definitely edit that bit.
I'm sending that bit to Lorna.
Yeah. Right. So what's the order? Well, I have to put Rome tops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think Dublin, then Paris, and then Cardiff. Paris and Cardiff are difficult. And there's a certain romanticism to Paris that's possibly lacking in Cardiff. But in terms of raw sexual energy, the centre of Cardiff on a rugby night, it's probably hard to beat, is it? So when we went down there, we used to the ladies, so the wives and the girlfriends and the wives of the president and all the committee used to go to one dinner, and then there was the match dinner, and then we used to drive back. They were in different places, and we would drive back to meet at the hotel. And always, wherever we went, you'd all drive back and go back to a hotel. But when we were traveling in Wales, in our bus, the guys were saying, "I stopped the bus here. We'll get off here, shall we?" And we're going, "Well, you're not going back to, meet the missus back." No, she won't be there. And come on, you better come with us. We said, "Well, we better go back and meet the missus." And sure enough, we went back. No sign of the missuses, because they're on their bus. The wives had said, "Come on, let's all get off here, shall we?" and they all got off, and they went to completely different bars from their husband. And so a wild place, But so and then sadly, through no fault of its own, Twickenham comes bottom because there's no real centre, is there? Once you're on the train out of Twickenham, that's it. Whereas all the other ones, you move into. You're close to the centre of town. Paris, Paris is a bit of a distance. So, but the team hotel is such fun at Paris. So, seeing how many drinks you can put on the team manager's bill. So, when we won in *95 for the first time in Parc de France, the team manager's bill was £7,500. That was pre-professionalism. I believe that wouldn't happen now. In 1999, when we won, the team manager's room bill was £200, and I put that on his bill, not anyone who was playing. I'd retire. So Paris is brilliant as well. So it's a tough choice between, but Rome is fantastic, and I'm not 100% sure how many people from Scotland go there. Someone suggested that 40,000 people from Scotland are expected to be in Rome, which
I've heard a lot of good things about the Rome trip. Actually, it's one that's definitely on the to-do list. Yeah,
well, I used to do pre-match stuff with my old pal Starkey, and Starkey does Starkey tours, and he's up to 5 planes he's flying people out from Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Prestwick to go out to Rome. So Starkey Tours is thriving on the Rome match, and but there's still another 39,000 people that are getting there some other way. If it's true there are 40,000 there, we'll find out.
Talking of getting to Rome and how those other people get there, you and a few others are embarking on quite the trek this year as part of the Doddie Aid Quest, your road to Rome. So talk us through that a bit. Like, how's the training been going?
Training, well, as you can see from the miles, the training's been going pretty well. He says starting to turn his legs again. But we'll probably not do that because the noise will be quite irritating. Rome is looking very exciting. It's basically, these rides all started when, in the early days of Doddie's illness, when I was meeting him in Edinburgh, and he said, I've got to go and meet this guy that cycled up from Twickenham before the Cup. And so he went and met him when he arrived up the mound or something like that, had his picture taken. And I subsequently, I don't know how, but we heard he was doing it again. So we said, well, we better do it. So Mark Bowman, myself and him and another guy, Tom Leaf, did it the next year. And then it's kind of grown arms and legs since then. But Russ, the guy who did the original one, has been banging on about when are we going to do Rome? When are we going to do Rome? So this year we're doing Rome, and we had a really good model that involved Cardiff, and Cardiff is at the last day of Doddie Aid. It made sense to do Cardiff again, but you can't just keep on doing the same thing, can you, Kevin? Kevin Stinfo, this is the problem he's got. So we're heading off to Rome, and It's all roads lead to Rome. People can start from wherever they want. People can do it virtually. For those that aren't going to Rome, 1, 2, 3 of you, you all got indoor bikes.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, 1,700 miles. You just need to get your 1,700 miles done. 3 of you over. Well, you could start now, couldn't you?
1700.
Yeah, but we're going from Uben, so we're doing just over 1,800 miles. And there's a team that's the Grand Slam team. It's called which has been set up by a number of people, including Ian Barr, the ex-president of the SRU.
That's
Now,
the
who'd have thought?
last Wade-based team,
Yeah,
isn't it?
last week, exactly.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that an ex-president of the SRU would be talking about cycling to Rome? Presidents have changed, haven't they?
Yes, certainly have.
So, they're going via Dublin and they're doing all the stadia, and I think they're about 2,000.
Okay.
But they're setting off. They're one of the first teams to set off on Wednesday, the 27th or something like that of February, 26th maybe. And they are therefore doing it in about 10 days. I'm doing it with some local farmers from Coll, and then a couple of people that from ex-rugby players that I was communicating with and said, "Do you fancy riding to Rome?" And then a couple of them said yes. So Gordon Darcy and Stuart Hogg are riding to Rome in our team. And we are trying to do Uben to Rome in 100 hours with continuous relay, someone on the road at all time, averaging 18 miles an hour over 4 and a bit days. So
it's a decent pace.
It's 8 people.
Mm.
So actually means you only do 60 miles a day in 10-mile increments. So it's a lot easier than doing what Russ is doing, or Ian Barr, or all these people that are doing far more. And it's great fun. 8-person continuous relay. There's a lot of banter in the vehicle between times.
I can imagine.
But not everyone's going to be riding. But when we get there, basically, there's only one rule of the ride. All roads lead to Rome. Start when you want, where you want, but you got to be 5 p.m. Piazza Navona for a beer on the Friday, the Friday night before, Friday the 8th. So we're all meeting for a beer there. So anyone that's over in Rome that wants a good time and an expensive drink, because Piazza Navona, buy your drinks just up the wee side streets where they're half the price. But Piazza Navona should be buzzing at 5 p.m. It will be buzzing anyway, but hopefully it will be even more buzzing if we get a lot of people welcoming us as we come in at 5 p.m. on the Friday. And then I think at 12:30 from Piazza del Popolo for people that are regulars in Rome, which will be you soon, won't it? Piazza del Popolo is the kind of launch pad to walk up to the stadium, and we'll be doing another march there. This is how all this stuff started, was with the Doddie Gump march 6 years ago, and so we're repeating that. There will be some elements of the Weir family there representing the clan. In fact, the youngest son, Ben, is cycling out with a team again in relay. So, and then whoever else turns up, but we'll be. It's another headband job. We'll have special headbands for the day, and it was an amazing thing the first time we did it, because by sheer luck, the team bus got caught at a red light just when Doddie and I arrived at that road junction, and we looked up at the bus and went, "Oh God, that's the team bus." And they looked into the crowd and saw Doddie and I, and we had Gregor and James Robson and people that we'd been involved with in our rugby career waving out the window. And they said it felt more like a home fixture going to the ground than an away fixture. So hopefully we can do that again if we can get as many people as possible. Turn up Piazza del Popolo. I think it's 12:30 we're meeting or setting off, but thereabouts, and then up to the stadium and the Peroni Village and all the fun that's been had there pre-kickoff. So late flights, you're going to check late flights, Martin?
I'm on Skyscanner right now, Rob. So I'm having a wee look. They're a wee bit pricey, but I'm not ruling anything out just now. I'm certainly
Yeah.
not cycling there, but like,
Yeah.
isn't
Well, I
without.
think the last time you went there, you met him with like pastries and stuff. You're probably going to need like a nice soft cushion
Yeah,
this time
that's
for your
right.
bum, you know?
Of course,
So
I've got no. That was the deal, wasn't it?
yeah,
But that's not. You're going to have to get proxies to deliver unless you can get out there. I wouldn't try and fly direct. It will cost you. It
Yeah,
won't be a cheap flight.
we can work something out, but we can ditch the pastries. We can cut the shit and go straight to the beers, right? That'll be the deal this time.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be ready for beers by then. It'll be very different. We won't be half as knackered as we are after 48 hours. Pretty much non-stop.
I think
So,
it was Colin Jarvis, and I tried to give him a pastry, and he looked at me as though he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like he's like,
Yeah.
"Just get away from me!" Like,
yeah. Yes, exactly. I don't want a pastry. So, and just to make it a bit of fun, we always like, when you farm on a small island and no one really sees you apart from your cattle, you can look like this, you can have this rather dodgy looking Mauser. That will be blue for the trip to Rome. I did once try and dye blue and yellow tartan, but the yellow disappears. So it's the shout is blue Mausers. And it'd be interesting to see how many people stand up and get counted. How many other people don't care what they look like for the next month a bit. So
I'd be interested on Glasgow team meetings or something like that. We're walking around the city centre with a nice blue moustache. I'd like that.
I know.
I think that's acceptable. I think that's acceptable. So if you're doing the virtual ride, and actually Mackenzie Construction, one of the Glasgow sponsors, are doing. They're going to donate £1 a mile for the distance they calculated, 1,870 miles, I think it is. So if you're in touch with Mackenzie Construction, you could give them your miles, and then they put £1 into the foundation. And if you were doing that, then you could dye your Mauser blue, couldn't you?
Maybe those
No
two.
one's saying yes. No one's saying yes.
Everyone's kind of like,
Maybe. Let's put that in the maiden pile.
we'll not say no.
But we're not
take
saying
it,
yes
take
either,
it under
maybe, no.
consideration.
The great thing is you can shave it off the next day.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Well, why wait the next day? You can shave it off before you go out onto town. Out on town.
Decent.
I've only been without this beard about once in the last decade, and to be honest with you, I didn't quite like what was underneath it. So I think I'd just have to let the blue fade out.
It may be better than blue moustache, because I mean a blue beard would be acceptable.
Yeah,
but the theme is, but I think blue facial hair is generally acceptable. Blue sideburns would be good.
You guys have both got like healthy growths at the moment, so I kind of have to rule myself out. So
you could maybe just.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to rule yourself out, because the great thing about dyeing it blue is you peroxide it first, and then I know because I've done this, and then the blue shows up. Don't worry about the blue showing up. You don't need a lot of hair there, even if you're just on a sort of David Niven wispy thing. Then it will still show up.
I was going to say it's the lack of hair that's the problem.
It's time. It's time you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've waited 37 years, Rob, and it's not here. So.
Oh well, your two colleagues, they've got no excuse. Fine facial hair.
Yeah, I think we're getting bullied here a little bit, but it's
chivied and encouraged, not bullied. Chivied and bullies, that's a dirty word now. I'm chivying and encouraging you. So.
All right, sorry. Yeah, I'll put the bullying form away then. Just now then. Right. Well, to wrap it up, we will stop with the questions for that, and we actually, just for a bit of fun, we always have a little bit of a speed round for you. So it's just 10 quick fire questions. Something hopefully you've not been on too much of the
Norfolk Nog.
in the Norfolk Nog.
I was left at home cooking dinner, ringing him up
yeah.
at the pub and saying, "Where are you?" I was just coming.
That's it. Hopefully they save some for you for later then. So, well, as I said, 10 quick fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind. So, you good to go?
Okay, fire away.
So, what is your favorite holiday destination?
At home.
Okay. Biggest fear or phobia?
Ooh, what's beyond the universe?
Okay. Who is the most famous person in your phone?
Ooh. I do have Gerard Butler's number, but he never answers.
Okay.
And he never responds to my text, so it's an academic one.
It
Is
counts.
that because you call him after a few Norfolk Nogs? Jerry,
Yeah.
Jerry.
I'm sure he'd be up for that, to be fair. Who would play you in a movie of your life?
Oh, they'd do it wrong and put Tom Cruise in at 5'6". Yeah, so they always do. Someone small. Tom Cruise fits the bill. Yeah.
Sounds good. What are you really bad at?
Ooh, tidying my bedroom.
Okay.
Actually, tidying anything. My shed, my bedroom.
Anything tidy. Without rugby, what would be your alternative career?
Ooh. Well, I am a farmer now, so I have an alternative. I hadn't played rugby. Did a bit of boxing, did a bit of basketball,
Okay.
rowing. I think I could have been a passable rower. 400-meter running.
Sounds good.
I've got to choose one. I'll go for athletics.
Athletics. Okay. Who is your favorite superhero?
Well, my kids talk about Thor all the time, and he's useful with a hammer, so we'll go with Thor.
Go with him. Who is your idol?
Ooh, who's my idol? I spent my youth looking up to Gareth Edwards. David Leslie was my childhood idol.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Jim Rennick's a hell of a guy as well. There's just so many amazing people out there. So,
yeah.
But I'll go for David Leslie. There you are.
David Leslie.
He was a man I aspired to be when I was at school.
Okay. Would you rather Scotland win the Six Nations but lose to England 100-0, or would you rather Scotland second place in the Six Nations but beat England 100-0?
Win Six Nations. Let's get over the England thing.
Okay.
Because I never beat England.
Yeah. Fair enough. Final question. Would you rather score the match-winning try or make the match-winning saving tackle?
I've got to be honest here and say I'm more likely to do the tackle than the try. So definitely, I'm more of a defensive animal than an attacking animal.
Yeah, there you go.
Do the tackle. Yeah. Do the grab.
That's it. You passed. You won the game.
I passed. Thank you very much. Oh well.
10 out of 10.
A real pleasure to escape the mayhem next door. I've got to find out what got swept off the table. That's when I moved through. That's what was happening. So, and we've got to go and see if one of the casualties is still breathing. But
still going. Yeah. Well, you go
crossed.
Take care of your guests. Thanks very much again, Rob, and well done again. Another good year.
All the best.
There we go. And I look forward to. I won't be getting my pastry from you, but I look forward to photos on my phone of your blue Mausers, please.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. Right. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks a
Cheers,
lot.
Rob.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
The life he leads is insane.
Oh yeah.
It's just like chaos, man. Like, oh yeah, there's just all these fucking pish guys kicking about in the house. Like, stuff's been falling off the table. They're stranded here for 2 days. Like,
he's completely calm about it as well. There doesn't seem like one stressed hair in his body.
wild.
See, when he was talking about, so when you're doing the virtual ride, 1,700 miles, and then you're dyeing your moustache or beard's blue, all I could think of was the bit of the conversation with Rory Hamilton being like, you just can't say no to Rob, can you? He's so persuasive. And I'm sitting there being like, trying to say no, and I'm like, what come out?
I know.
But
It's
we'll
like
see
that,
what we can do. We'll see what we
that-
can do.
that fake. I totally won't do that.
Please stop asking me because I feel guilty enough.
I know. So, but
I'm not sure how a blue beard would go down in the office. I mean, Ali, you've got no excuse. You're the boss, so you need to do what you want.
But you've got to set a standard. I don't want them all coming in with like speed lines in their hair and stuff like that. Couldn't go to my next meeting and just sit there, all my clients with a blue mustache. I would think I'd be going to at the cinema with like blue slushies or something.
As long as you've got a sign that explains why with you at all times. Like, cut that conversation off at the legs.
Sounds like a plan.
Call Rob into your meetings.
We'll see. We'll put that in the suggestion box too, along with Rob's suggestions. I suppose that pretty much wraps us up then for Doddie Aid 2024. Well done to both of you. You both smashed it out. I was average, maybe even below average, but
we all done well.
Well done. I think it's been a good campaign. More money raised, which is brilliant. More awareness, which is even more important. So keep up the good fight and see you next year.
Oh, you've
sorry.
got something.
Hello.
We've also to do the prize draw.
Oh,
not
yes.
now. We'll get the names out for the winners. So
Forgot
if you
about
have listened, if you had listened to this end, then you will. Those with 0 miles are not getting put in the draw. You have to at least done something.
0 miles, 0 chance.
But we will we'll put out the winning names on our socials very soon. So please pay attention.
Awesome.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go for it. So we'll see you for that then. Right. Good night.
Awesome.
See you lads.
See you later.